All right, today we are diving deep into a company that is right at the bleeding edge of biology and artificial intelligence. It's called Isomorphic Labs, and its mission? Well, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, to use AI to completely change how we discover new medicines. And look, they are not pulling any punches with their ambitions. This is a real claim from Isomorphic Labs, which is a part of Google's DeepMind, solving all diseases in months. It's such a massive statement, you just have to ask, is this the peak of tech hype, or are we looking at the beginning of a genuine revolution in human health? Let's get into it. So, a cure for everything? Is that really on the table? To understand a claim that big, first, we gotta understand the company that's making it. Okay, so let's be clear. Isomorphic Labs isn't just another biotech startup. You see, it was spun out of DeepMind for one very specific reason, to point its incredibly powerful AI at one of the biggest challenges humanity faces: disease. Their goal isn't just to speed things up a bit, it's to build an entirely new way of finding treatments for, well, pretty much everything. And to really get just how big of a deal this is, you have to see the difference. The old way of finding a new drug, it's this long, slow, painstaking process of trial and error. We're talking more than a decade, billions of dollars, and most of the time, it just fails. The AI way, the way Isomorphic Labs sees it, completely flips the script. Instead of just searching in the dark, the idea is to precisely model the biology and then design a solution. It's about accelerating the whole thing, big time. Okay, so how on earth does this AI way actually work? Well, the answer is rooted in a massive technological breakthrough that's changing biology as we know it. It all comes down to one thing: AlphaFold. And this is the absolute cornerstone of their whole approach. You see, for 50 years, figuring out the 3D shape of even a single protein was this monumental, often career-long task for scientists. AlphaFold can now predict the structure of basically any protein with mind-blowing accuracy. It was one of the grand challenges in biology, and AI just solved it. So why does shape matter so much? This is where it gets really cool. Think of proteins as these tiny little machines that do all the work in our bodies, and their shape dictates their job. If a protein gets misshapen, it's like a broken machine, and that can cause a disease. So if you want to fix one of these broken machines, you need the blueprints, right? You need to see its exact shape. So let's walk through how this all comes together. Step 1, you find the problem: the faulty protein that's causing the disease. Step 2, you give it to AlphaFold to get a perfect 3D model of its structure. Then, and this is the magic, you use AI again to digitally design a tiny key, a drug molecule, that fits perfectly into that protein's lock. From there, you can either turn the faulty protein off or maybe even correct what it's doing. It's a fundamental shift from guesswork to precision engineering. But, the vision here is bigger than just making drugs faster. Isomorphic Labs says this is also about making healthcare a whole lot fairer. A big part of their mission, at least what they say, is to use this incredible tech to tackle some of the oldest problems in healthcare. We're talking about addressing long-standing biases, focusing on areas that have been ignored for way too long, like women's health, and even figuring out how to make these AI tools accessible to researchers all over the world. It's a huge ambition that goes way beyond just speed. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds almost too good to be true, right? Revolutionary. But with technology this powerful, there is always a flip side. We have to talk about the hidden risks. So yeah, let's just ask it directly. What is the catch? Where could this perfect vision of AI-powered medicine go off the rails? And this is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? On one side, you have this incredible promise of personalized medicine and cures for everyone, but on the other, you've got some serious dangers. These AI models need mountains of patient data to work, which immediately brings up huge privacy questions. And then there's the risk that if the data itself is biased, the AI will be too. All of this can seriously erode public trust. And that whole public trust thing, it is not just some abstract idea. Surveys have shown again and again that a lot of people are really hesitant to hand over their sensitive health information to big tech companies. But for this whole AI dream to work, it needs that data. So building and keeping people's trust is a huge, huge piece of the puzzle. All right, so we've got this incredible promise on one hand and some very real risks on the other. So where do we go from here? What happens next? The timeline really puts into perspective just how fast all of this is moving. Just a few years ago, we had the AlphaFold breakthrough. Then, Isomorphic Labs was created to turn that science into actual medicine, and the next big step is right around the corner. By the end of 2025, the goal is to have the very first AI-designed drugs in human clinical trials. This is where the rubber meets the road. When you really boil it all down, the future of this whole field is a balancing act. It's a real tightrope walk. We need to push the innovation forward to save lives, but we absolutely have to do it responsibly, with solid ethical rules and oversight to protect people and make sure it's fair. And all of this leaves us with one massive, critical question. The technology is moving at a dizzying speed. AI is learning the language of our bodies, learning how to fix what breaks inside of us. It is literally learning to cure us. So the real question isn't about the technology anymore, it's about us. Are we ready?